everybody. Thank you for coming to this session. Sudha, thank you so much for giving Lithan the opportunity, and respected panelists, thank you so much. So I believe we have in the audience today, we've got school counselors, we've got teachers, and we've got parents and students. And as Sura rightly said, what I am going to do, my section, is to show you how competency-based education really looks like, right? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you through all of those steps. You've heard of all these fancy terms, competency-based education, blended learning, and all of these terms. They can sound a little bit fancy and a little bit hoo-ha, but when you actually see this in action, it's really, really simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen, and you all should be able to see what is called as the LMS, in other words, Learning Management System. Again, it's the term sounds kind of complex, but it's really not. It's really a system where we host all the learning and content materials. So as you can see, right at the top, this is a course, this is a module called as Digital Marketing Fundamentals. So this module belongs to a course which is called as Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing or Bachelor's in Digital Marketing. It falls under those kind of courses. Now, on the left-hand side of this page, what you see is all the content that is required for you as a student to become competent in this particular subject matter, which is digital marketing. Now, so let's just say, I'm just going to put you in a hypothetical situation. So let's just say you're a student and you've signed up with us to learn about digital marketing. So as soon as you log into this platform, into this LMS, you will see all the course materials neatly lined up on the left-hand side. So let's just say you're a learner and you want to find out how to reach out to the relevant authorities. You want to find out what is the schedule for this course. You now want to also book your assessment towards the end after you finish the module. You've got some basic documents that will teach you a little bit about what is this module all about. You know, you can find that out in unit guide. You can find out a little bit more about Lithan and about blended learning in the orientation slides. And then you come down to the main core section. So this is the actual meat of the section. IU1 really stands for, IU means instructional unit. It's just like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So that's what you have here, IU1, IU2, IU3. Now, so you can, as you can see, within each of these IUs, so we start off with Introduction to Digital Marketing. Now, what is blended learning really here? So I'm just going to show you an example of what blended learning is. So here, what you're going to see is, you're going to see a lot of videos. So essentially, blended learning means the learning that comes to you is not in the conventional, traditional way. In going back 10 years ago, when we did not have online or digital learning, the only way for you or for us to learn is, you would go to the school and they would give you textbooks, or if you're doing some sort of a distance education, they will send out the books to you. So really the only medium for you to learn is just books. And that is the kind of education that I went through. And that was the old school education. And I really wish if I had YouTube, if I had videos, and if I had all this sort of different digital media, really so that I could take my understanding of the lessons to a whole new level. I would have really done very, very well in my studies, but unfortunately, I didn't do that well because I did not have blended learning. So what is blended learning here really? So in the first module, as you can see, you've got all these videos. So let's just say if you click on the first video, what is online marketing, it will take you to LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning, everybody knows what's LinkedIn. For those of you who are not aware, LinkedIn also has a platform called as Learning. It's a product that they have. It's only available or visible to universities and education institutes that want to leverage on the learning content that LinkedIn has already built. So you can go through a lot of videos here. So let's just say once you've finished these videos and then you want to come back, let's move on to the next IU. And again, in the next IU, you're going to find a mix of videos. You're going to find a mix of, MCQs and online slides, and all of this is happening. It's not just, it is self-paced, which means you will be doing it your own time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get any sort of support from the instructor. You will get a lot of support from the instructor, from the trainer who's teaching you. So you've got the actual trainer that you can reach out to. You've got videos that you can watch. You've got slides that you can go through to really take your understanding to a whole new level. And once you've done that, once you've learned about the different IUs and whatever you need to learn, this is where you can go for your own self-assessment. So we give you different sorts of MCQs and assignments and projects, real world projects to work on, so that you really, really become competent and you really acquire the digital skill that is required in the marketplace. So for example, here, these are all the MCQs that you'll be doing, and so self-check. The system will tell you whether you passed or whether you are yet to pass. And once you've done all these IUs, once you've done the MCQs, then you go into assignments. So assignments, again, MCQs are very, very simple. It's just a one-liner question to really test your understanding of whether you get it right or not. Assignment goes into a little bit deeper. It will really test you if you have the critical analytical thinking ability. So it will give you different scenarios that you can work on, that you really have to think. So for example, here there's an assignment where you have to do some sort of competitor analysis, and then you would have to do some sort of buyer persona analysis, and all of this you do, and slowly, it's just step by step. So this is assignment 1, this is assignment 2, this is assignment 3, and each of these assignments, they gradually build up in complexity. We don't obviously want to put students in the deep end with complex stuff. We gradually scale the students. So you start off with simple assignments, and then you move on to a little bit more complex stuff. So this is just one of the simplest modules, which starts off by teaching you the fundamentals of digital advertising and marketing. So that's pretty much it. And once you've done this, then what happens is you submit the assignments. And then lastly, you need to work on a real project. And you need to prepare a project presentation as well, because this is how you're going to be assessed by the assessor. They're going to see the project that you worked on, and they're going to also see, they're going to ask you some questions. They're going to ask you to present, okay, learner, tell me, how is this company going to launch their digital marketing campaign? So you have to explain it to them. So once you've done all the learning, once you've done all the MCQs, once you've done all the assignments, once you've submitted the projects, you are ready to be assessed. And once you've gone through the assessment, you will be marked as competent by the assessor. So that is how it's very simple. Don't let big words like learning management system throw you away. It's really, really very simple. It's just all of your books now put into video format or slides format that you can access from any part of the world, from your laptop, from your mobile, wherever you are, you can access all of that stuff. And as I said, it's not just thrown to you for your self-learning. You will have an instructor that is going to walk you through the entire course. They'll give you classes, they'll give you virtual classes, then you're going to have videos that you can go and watch yourself. So that's what the real blended learning is all about. The courses are delivered through platforms like WebEx, Cisco, or Zoom. So you've got access to all these recordings that you can go back and watch many a times to really, really take your understanding to a whole new level. So that is the first thing that I wanted to show you, a quick demo, a quick walkthrough of what does blended learning really, really look like when it's put into a learning management system platform. Now, the next thing I want to show you is, let's talk a little bit about competency-based education. So what is this competency-based education? The first time I heard this phrase, wow, it sounded a little bit, I was thrown off. What is competency-based education? Again, it sounds like a big scary technical word, but it's really not. It's just education that is making you competent for the skill that is required in the marketplace. That's a skill that is required by companies of various sizes in multiple sectors and industries and verticals. It is a skill that is required today, not a skill that is required that was required 10 years ago, or that's going to be required in the future, but it's a skill that's required today and a little bit in the future. But it's not like the traditional education that we had. So for example, if I were to relate back to competency-based education, when I was going through my education, I learned about history in school. I learned about biology in school. I mean, I only used it for my exams, but after that, I never really used it, okay? It didn't really make me competent to the skill that was required in the marketplace. And that is what competency-based education is all about. We give you skills that is required today in the marketplace so that you're digitally ready for companies that are looking for digital talents. So now I'm going to give you a demo of how you will become competent when you go through one of our modules, right? So let's just say here there's an assignment. The task here is on Google, you need to list some Google keywords. I won't work on Google. I'll work on a more simplified platform, which is Facebook. Everybody is familiar with Facebook. Of course, everyone's familiar with Google as well, but Facebook is a little bit more fascinating and a little bit more simpler. So I'm going to show you how you can become digitally skilled in digital advertising, which is a very hot skill in demand in today's marketplace. In the previous presentation, the presenter presented a skill on business analytics. So today I'm going to be presenting to you a skill on digital advertising, right? So let's come on to the next platform that I want to show you. This is, can anybody guess what this platform is? I'm sure you all kind of know, you've already seen that in the URL, but it is Facebook, right? Now you're gonna see, hey, what is this Facebook? I've never really seen this part of Facebook. The only Facebook that I know is as soon as I log in, all I see is my friends' photos, right? But what is this? So this is the advertising interface of Facebook. Now, have you ever wondered how is Facebook so good in reaching out to you, in targeting you? How are they so precise with their advertisements? How is it that you go and look for a sneaker or a fashion accessory or a cooking item one day, and the very next day, in fact the same day, in a few hours, there is an ad from that website that is stalking you on all different websites wherever you go, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Instagram, wherever you are. Even some smart ones, they also sneak into your Gmail inbox, right? So have you ever wondered how is it these guys are able to come back at you with so much precision? And even if you've not gone to that website, some websites, you search for some keywords on Google, and then suddenly you will see some ads chasing you on Facebook, right? So if you've ever wondered how is all of this happening, if that has ever piqued your curiosity, then what I'm going to show you is the answer to how it all happens in the backend. So I'm going to do a very quick demo of how to set up a Facebook campaign, right? So this is the Facebook ads interface. It looks a little bit technical and complicated, but just bear with me. The first time I looked at it, it did throw me off, but the more you get used to it, you just become very, very familiar. So the first thing I've done is now I'm creating a campaign. And the first thing Facebook is going to ask me is, what sort of a campaign do you want to build? Now, in marketing, there are different kinds of campaigns. Do you want awareness campaign? Do you want consideration campaign? Or do you want conversion campaigns? So let's just say I'm giving you a hypothetical scenario. So let's just say you and I, we've gotten into a partnership and we have launched a bakery. Okay, so you and I, both of us, we've gotten into a partnership and we have launched a bakery in Kuala Lumpur. And now we want to reach out, we want to attract people to our bakery. We want to spread awareness because you're a brand new business, and we want to spread brand awareness in the local community, right? So I'm going to choose a brand awareness campaign, and I'm going to continue to set up the campaign now. So the next screen that you're going to see is Facebook is going to ask you a few details here. So let's just say I'm going to type in uh, bakery launch ad 1. So that is the name of my campaign, right? Now, there are a few other things that you have to fill in here. We won't go into all the details. I'll only talk about some simple details. I won't get into complex stuff because this is Facebook advertising, or even Google advertising, or even YouTube advertising. Digital advertising is one area that will test both your right brain and your left brain. Right brain is for the creative side of things, which is the creatives, the ad images that you see, the ad copy that you see. That's all the creative side of things. The analytical side of things is the data. You have to do a lot of data analysis. You need to see what campaign is working, what campaign is not doing well, which campaign you should be scaling, which campaign you should be stopping. So all of that is the left brain side of things, as a technical aspect. So one reason why I love digital advertising is because it appeals to both sides of my brain. I'm playing around with my creative side, and I'm working on my analytical side as well. So we won't get into the analytical side today, which is what you see here, which is the A/B test, campaign budget optimization. We won't get into all the complex stuff. We'll just keep it simple, and I'll just show you the basics of setting up a campaign. So I've put the campaign name. Now, at this level, Facebook is going to ask me for a lot more details. Now, the first thing Facebook is asking me is, I'm just going to put ad set name as ad set 1. The second thing Facebook is going to ask me is budget. Now, this is something that I really, really like, because Facebook is a self-serve advertising platform, which means you can go to everybody. Most people are not aware, but everybody, whoever has got a Facebook account, they by default have access to an ad account as well. People are not aware of this, but if you have a Facebook account, you have access to an ad account on Facebook as well. So that's the reason why it's called as a self-serve advertising platform. Now, because it's self-serve, Facebook gives us the option to decide on the budget. Unlike, let's just say, this is the best part of going digital. It's not only hyper targeted, but it also gives you the flexibility and the freedom to choose your budget, as opposed to, let's say, if I went and if I spoke to a magazine company, or if I spoke to a newspaper, or if I spoke to a publication, they would say you would need to spend a minimum of 10,000 ringgit. And you have no idea who is watching your ad and who's not watching your ad. So that's the best part about digital advertising. A, you can control the budget. B, you can be really, really hyper-targeted, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But budget. So let's just say I want to launch this campaign with $5 as my daily budget. I'm based in Singapore. That's the reason why it's showing me SGD. So I want to start off small, and I want to run this campaign. So let's say I want to run this campaign for a week. I start off from 10th December, and I finish on the 17th of December. Now, this is the most interesting part. So here, Facebook is going to ask me, okay, who do you want to target? Who do you want to reach out to? So I'm going to show you some interesting things here. This is where all the magic really happens. And if you've ever wondered how is it Facebook coming after you so precisely, this section is the answer. So let's just say I am going to target people living in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so I have chosen my geography. Now you can see it's showing me the map of this area, and only Kuala Lumpur is highlighted. Not only the location, I'm going to go a little bit more deeper, and I'm going to say, hey, Facebook, I don't want to talk to everybody who's on Facebook. I only want to talk to a certain section of the audience. I only want to talk to people from 17 years of age to, let's just say, 35 years of age. Nobody else outside this range should be able to see this ad. How does Facebook know? Obviously, Facebook knows because the first thing when you sign up, they ask you for your date of birth, right? Facebook knows everything. Facebook knows everything about us. So now I can go a little bit more targeted and I can say, okay, let's just say I only want to reach out to women because let's just say I have, for some reason, I've got bakery items that appeal to women. So I'm just only going to go after women here. Now I'm going to go a little bit more deeper and super deep, to be entirely honest, right? Now, Facebook gives you the option to do detailed targeting, which means I can go after people if I know my demographics, if I know who my audience is, if I know what their interests are, and if I know what their behaviors are, I can go precisely after those people. So let me give you an example. So let's just say we want to go after parents, parents who are interested in, who have kids between, let's just say, 18 to 26 years of, or let's just say parents with preschoolers. These are the parents, these are the kids who are really interested in cutting cakes and those kind of things, right? So I'm just going to choose these parents, which means I'm not going to go after parents who've got kids between 18 to 26. I'm only going to go after parents between these years. Why? Because I know that kids during this age group, they love to celebrate their birthdays and cut cakes and those kind of things, right? So I've chosen that. Then let's just say, let's see if I want to go into a little bit more detail. So I'm targeting parents who are obviously, let's just say, married. You know, I'm just picking that as an example here. Let's move on to the next one. Let's say behaviors. So I want to go after uh, parents, or let's just say not even parents. I also want to go after people who have their anniversary coming up in the next 90 days. So I choose these people. Guys, can you see, can you appreciate how targeted this is? I'm not going after people who don't need bakery items. I'm only going after people who need bakery items within the next 30 or 60 or 90 days. That's how targeted Facebook is, right? Now, let's just say I also want to go after people who are digitally inclined, mobile device users. Their purchase behavior is they're engaged shoppers, which means they're actively buying things online or they're registering online. So Facebook knows all this data. Facebook is not going to show you this ad if you, even if you belong to that target category, and if you're not really engaged, Facebook may not show this ad to you. So the point of this exercise is I want to show you how targeted this is. So I just want to go after parents. I've chosen parents, right? And I only want to go after, let's just say I also want to go after school counselors, right? Let's just see if we've got school counselors, right? There you go. See, people who are interested in school counseling. And it goes a little bit more deeper. It is showing me middle school counselors who have highlighted that as their job title. So I can reach out to people who are interested in school counselor blogs as well. So there's a whole lot of targeting that I can do here. So let's just say I pick school counselors here, right? So I've picked school counselors as well. It shows up right over here, school counselors, right? Now, so that's it. I'm just giving you some examples of how you can go after targeting. Now, here's another interesting thing. Facebook also gives you the option, the freedom to exclude people that you do not want to talk to. So let's just say I want to exclude people. I don't want to reach out to people. For some reason, I don't want to reach out to people who are Starbucks, who are a fan of Starbucks. Why? Because my research has showed people who are Starbucks buyers, they generally don't buy our items for whatever reason, right? Because they like coffee or whatever. Let's just say we want to exclude that. So here I've clearly told Facebook, you need to exclude people who like Starbucks. So let's just say if I want to exclude somebody else, right? So let's just say I want to exclude mature people. Let's just say if that gives me an option, mature Okay, let's just say, okay, no, there's no option for that. But I hope you guys are getting the idea. I can go after the exact audience that I want to go after. So that's where all the magic really happens. That's where Facebook gives you the freedom to select who you want to go to. Now, Facebook is then going to ask you, where do you want to place these ads? Do you want to leave this on us? Or if you set it as automatic placements, Facebook is going to say, okay, leave this to us. We will put it on Instagram. We will put it on Facebook, mobile feeds, desktop feeds, etc., etc. But I know from my research that automatic placements does not work for me. What really works for me is only Instagram. So I'm going to take off all these options. I'm going to uncheck them because I know that these people do not convert. They don't buy. It's only the Instagram audience that buys from me. So I've only selected the Instagram audience. So I come here. I've done all the targeting. The last bit here is for you to choose your ad creative, the ad image that you want to choose, the ad copy that you want to write. So let's just say we are going to create an image. So here is new ad one. I have selected my Facebook page, the default Facebook page. And then it's going to ask me, do you want an image video or do you want an image ad or do you want a video ad? So let's just say we go with a simple image ad. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side, it's actually loading the preview so you can see how this ad really looks like to the audience. So let's just say I've chosen this image, right? So this is how the ad is going to be previewed on Instagram, right? So I've chosen the ad creative. I did this previously, so to save time. And let's just say I want to add some uh, copy to it, right? So I'm going to add some ad text. So this is where you add your ad text. So let's just say you could add something really simple. Hey, buy our cake. Hey, so I'm just going to add something really, really simple. Check out our baking items, right? The platform's a little bit slow. It can get a little bit glitchy, but that's okay. But I have typed my primary text, which is going to go with the actual ad image. And this is how the ad is going to look like on Instagram. So all of this part is done. Now, Facebook, this is where the left brain is going to be involved. This is where you have to do a little bit of data analytics, conversion tracking, and Facebook pixel. This can get a little bit technical here. We won't get into it. The whole idea was to just show you a simple demo. Now, all of this is done. The last bit, as you can see on the bottom right, is the publish button. I won't publish it because otherwise it will just go to Facebook and they will approve it. Anyways, they need a verified payment method. So guys, that is how you set up a simple ad campaign. So the entire point, the whole objective of me showing you this demonstration was, if you've ever been interested in these kind of things of how this works, how digital advertising works in the back end, I've shown you a demo. And I'm going to wrap it up by saying that this skill, as Suha correctly mentioned, Zura also mentioned, this digital advertising is a skill that is in high demand across all countries, across companies of all sizes and all verticals, all industries. So you won't go wrong if you learn a skill like this. Which company does not want sales and marketing? Every company, if they have to survive, they need sales and marketing. And not the old school sales and marketing, but the new way of digital advertising, which is what I just showed you. So guys, I hope you found some value out of this. I'm going to wrap up my session just there. I'm going to pass it to Zura. Thank you, everybody. Hope you had a good time.